Hello friends, it's Simone. Welcome to another Snippets from my desk video. Today is Sunday, November 10th. The election in the United States was last Tuesday, and I'm here. And I'm glad you're here too. So, I thought I would just do some things that bring me joy. Some housekeeping, basically. You know that I clutter my desk and then I need my desk to be free in order to be able to be creative. But I'm not going to go and clean all the stuff. I have some new stuff that I haven't documented in my various journals just yet. And so I thought we could do that together. I need to update my currently inked list. I want to show some new pens to you, and I haven't updated my reading journal on camera in quite a while. And so I thought these 4 things would be something that we could do together today. I bought more ink bottles. This is Pilot Iroshizuku Suzuki, no, not Suzuki, Tsuji, and this is Waterman Tender Purple. I'm really thinking about top 5 videos that I could do for December, and I thought maybe I wanted to do a top 5 inks of 2024 video. But I'm having a hard time picking one. I thought maybe one that I hadn't used in 2023 yet. I think I have an easier grip on top 5 pens of 2024, only those that I purchased in 2024. But man, I should do a top 5 pens of 2024 and then top 5 of all times. This is a 50 milliliter bottle, I believe. I always put the milliliter in here. Then I write the ink color, which is, how do I do this? Oh, I have my binder right here. Yes, I write the ink name first. This one is Tsuji. And then this is Pilot Iroshizuku. I decided that I would start collecting October 2024 from Amazon. Those Pilot Iroshizuku inks that I really enjoy, because they are just so reliable. I have not had one that doesn't flow well. And so, yeah, every time I have a little bit of credit on Amazon, I get another one. So now, I think I started out the year with Pilot Iroshizuku, Tsukiyo, and Konpeki. Let me check when I bought Konpeki. Yes. And then you can't see this. So Konpeki I bought in 2023, and Tsukiyo I was gifted in 2022. And now I have Yamabudo, Fuyu Syogan that I got in June, and then I also added Syoro in July. And this one, Tsutsuji, I added in October. I also really like Momiji. And I like all of those blue teal-y greens. There's another one that I really like. Oh, wow. I did not let this dry. This is bad. This is bad. Okay, maybe that helps. Okay, I'm gonna just let this dry. I usually swatch inks that I have in samples in my different swatch places, which is the, what is it? It's my Rolodex cards that I make myself from mixed media paper and in my swatch book. But when I buy a bottle, I add this one and add it to this Traveler's Company. This is one of those, you know, pockets. And so I don't really know how I want to sort them. These are the ones that I used during my summer of bottles up to here. And all of those they have been in pens, but I haven't used them for a longer time in pens just yet. It's a lot. Don't know. Maybe I need to ink more pens or more. I just need to stop buying new stuff, and then I don't have a problem with using all of the things, because at some point I will have used them. Why am I closing this? I haven't filmed a snippets from my desk video in a while, I guess. These Waterman inks, that's what I was going to talk about with the top 5. I think that these inks are amazing for the value that you get for the price of these inks is just stunning. This is the 3rd ink color that I add to my collection from their colors. They have very limited colors. I think the only one that is still available to add would be Harmonious Green. They had Absolute Brown, but I think that has been discontinued. Not 100% sure though. I'm going to write Tender Purple first. Ooh. It flows really well. It has amazing shading. And these bottles are about $12 for 50 milliliters. So, wow. I also have Inspired Blue and Serenity Blue. Waterman, October 2024 on Amazon. This is 50 ml. So I'm gonna let this dry as well. And it does have a little bit of sheen over here, and when it's really very, very, very saturated. I thought I would have to add more because I did buy quite a bit of ink in the last couple of months. So let me check where that is. These two I added, but then I think I added even more, but I already had cards, maybe, possibly. No, I think I bought samples, but I bought these two colors, Colorverse Brain and Diamine Twilight, also in October. I was going to look at another thing. I did film an update on my goals for my inky goals for 2024. What I have at the beginning of 2024, inky goals, Project Ink Down, pens from my pen case. This is like such a failure here, the pens from my pen case. I've not done any of those yet. I think I filmed one update, Inky Goals check-in in March, or at the end of March, but I haven't done one at the end of June, or at the end of October. No, September would have been the time that I should have checked in again if I were to do this quarterly. So I think that's also one of the videos that I'm definitely going to share and check in. How many pens do I now have at the end of 2024? How many ink bottles? The interesting thing, even though I went on quite a spree, at the end of October, Now I need to check where I put that down. I didn't even buy Momiji. I bought Tsutsuji. So I have, this says is 40, even though you can't really read it. So I added the tender purple in November, I guess. So that would put me to 41. And if I look back at my bottle count from the beginning of 2024, I had 53. So I'm still lower than the starting rate, but I put here no ink bottle purchases, one in, one out. That definitely did not happen. But I'm going to do a full-on video on this just to, you know, check in and see how that went. This is still wet, but you can see the green halo around here. It's not sheen. I wouldn't say it's sheen. Like on the Tsutsuji, there is definitely some gold sheen here. Not like this with tender purple. So I'm going to put those away. The water goes, the ink goes. I definitely should not add any more bottles because my ink drawer is actually full. I'm stacking these on top and laying them on the side, which is something that I'd rather not do because I'm a little afraid that they might spill. But where's my book? I haven't really talked about this in any of my actual fountain pen videos. This is a Maruman Mnemosyne A4 notebook, and I'm using this horizontally. And I started this, I guess, I don't really know when I started this, but I started documenting all of these pens. And I use a date stamp when I ink them. I make a swatch, I write the pen, the ink, make one of those squiggly things, figure eights. And then when I unink the pen, I stamp the date again. And so this is what I did in October as well. And you saw this in one of in those October videos. But I really like how this looks. It's a nice way to go back and look at all of the pens that have been inked, how long they have been inked, what inks were there, how the writing looked. The paper is really lovely to write on as well. And I inked 4 more pens. I actually sold one of those though when I met a friend in person. Oh my gosh, can't believe I did that. So I inked those on November 6th, I believe. So, and I thought I would just share those with you and show them to you. I have 2 new pens that I want to share. One of them is inked. You can see that in the inky process, and it's actually now, I have 20 pens inked, and these 3 are the ones that I inked on Wednesday because my friend wanted to try them. It's so funny. She sent a list of the pens that she would love to try, or the nibs that she would love to try, and none of them were inked. So I needed to ink them all up. This is my Monarch nib, and I'm not sure if this Diamine Twilight is a dry ink. If you are using Diamine Twilight, or if you have a grip on whether this is a dry or a wet ink or just a regular ink, I'd love to know in the comments down below, because I feel like it's not flowing well from this pen. This is a Walltown Watts with a Monarch medium nib, and this is the Sebastian colorway, and then the middle line is right here. This is Diamine Twilight, and I think I thought that yesterday as well. This Scribo Grigio looks like a lighter version of the Diamine Twilight. There is no flex with this titanium nib. Yeah, but when I used it the other day to write a letter, yes, I started working on letter writing again. I just love the sparkles in here. I it felt draggy. I don't like draggy pens, so that was weird. Then I inked my Pelikan M800. And boy, oh, I need to write this down first. Maybe with a different color. Insert Max eating the Pelikan. So I was waiting to be able to film this video because my puppy is in the living room sleeping on the couch, and then my daughter came downstairs to eat, so someone needs to supervise the dog. So I was sitting there waiting for her to be done, and so I brought my letter writing stuff with me, and I decided to write with this pen. But suddenly I started writing. I didn't even write one full sentence, and his head perked up and he was like, "What are you doing there?" And then he came closer and closer, and then his tongue stuck out, and then he started to lick the back of this, and then not just his tongue came, but also his snout, his muzzle. How do you say that in English, please? Help me out here. And then his teeth. And so I pulled out my camera, I took a photo, and then I put away the pen because this pen is way too expensive to be eaten by my dog. But he's very, very curious about this green thing in my hand, so I could not use it. And then he put down his head, fell asleep again. But every time I use this is Pelikan M800 with a fine nib, green demo. And this is Waterman, tender purple. Can you see the amazing shading? Why is there so many here? Tender purple. There's definitely a little bit of flex in this nib. Not a lot. I'm really curious to try a medium nib. I don't know. What I found really, when I went to the San Francisco Pen Show, I wanted to try the M1000, and I did. But the pen that they had there was completely mangled. The nib, the person showing it, said that the nib was, the tines were sprung, and this is not how this pen would write. So I was a little bit disappointed by that experience because that didn't give me any feedback, any data to know would I like this nib or wouldn't I like this nib. And so I knew just from holding the nib and the pen, not the nib, holding the pen in my hand, that this wasn't something that I wanted to go for at this point. Maybe later, but right now, the writing experience with the M1000 wasn't something that brought me so much joy that it would justify the expense. Now, every time I write with this one, I'm really, really thinking, maybe I should get another one. I love how this feels in my hand. I love how it's weighted. That's another thing that I would love to talk about. Pens that make you feel a certain way. I think I talked about that when I talked about the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande with my titanium medium nib. It just elevates the writing experience so much, and that's how I feel about this pen too. So I don't want to be pulled into buying pens that I don't feel about this, that I don't even feel half like when I write with this pen. So what I'm trying to say is I would love to try a medium nib, but what if the medium nib at the pen show is just so different to an actual writing experience with a medium that it doesn't really make sense to even test it there. But yeah, I'm trying to, even though I'm adding so many pens to my collection right now, I'm also trying to be really mindful about what would I like, what would I don't like, what makes me happy, what doesn't make me happy. And so, yes, I'm thinking about maybe adding a medium-sized nib of the Pelikan M800, but that's not something that I want to do tomorrow. It's like, okay, I hope at least. I feel like I can wait for that. Maybe even I know that Atlas Stationers, last year they had this one on their Fountain Pen Day sale and the Black Friday sale. This year they had even more M800s in different colors at a special doorbuster price. So maybe that's something that I can try to acquire next November. She says, I don't know. Sometimes these things are like, yeah, I'm totally fine when I talk about that and I think about them. And then something hits me and I need to get it right now. Trying to get away from that. I did hit checkout on this pen. This is the Gourmet Pens Benu exclusive Talisman in Dark Unicorn. I think I saw it somewhere and I knew exactly that this pen would make me extremely happy. This is my Christmas gift. So it was not deducted from my pen budget. And I inked it up because I just wanted to see how it writes. I did not expect the grip section and the cap band to be this translucent blue. Not sure if I like how this fits with this whole pen. I think maybe this magenta would have been really lovely as well. And actually, maybe if I... So the lighting is good enough, but not good enough for... Let's see if we can make this. Then turn it down a little. Maybe this works better. Can you see the blue? And something that makes me extremely happy, I have learned, is holo glitter. Maybe because it reminds me a little bit of Rodin, actual Rodin. But I'm totally fine with holo glitter. It doesn't need to be Rodin for me just yet. I want to get away from those blanket statements because maybe I'm just not there in my fountain pen journey yet. But maybe in 2 years, I think completely different about that. That's one of the things that I learned this year in 2024. It's that maybe my collection is not a finite thing. Benu Talisman. Oh my gosh, this writes so lovely. This has a medium nib and it's the dark unicorn. And I inked it with Colorverse Brain. That is such a lovely, I'm gonna hold it up so you can see the shimmer over there. Such a lovely shimmer ink. I'm so glad I added this to my collection. I should have added Colorverse Cat as well. So yeah, maybe my collection is not a static thing. Maybe it's a fluctuating thing. But I have also, I fluctuated with the number of my pens at around 30 to 33 pens all of the beginning of 2024 until the San Francisco Pen Show. Before the San Francisco, I sold quite a few pens. But now I'm at 40 pens, I believe. Where's my notebook again? Not here, here. So I can just put this in here. This definitely came before the other one. So if you have an idea on, should I sort it by brand? Should I sort it by color families? So October, at the end of October, I was at 39 pens. I added 2 more, which is 41. I sold 1, which is 40. So now I'm at 40 pens, 40 bottles. Can ink each pen with one of the inks in my bottle collection. Isn't that cool? So I'm at 40. And I started the year out with 34. So I increased the number of pens by 6. I know that this Opus 88 Mini is going to be given away at the end of the month, which would lead me back to 39. That's not a thing. Like, I'm not concerned about the number, but what I have realized is that I am having a much harder time identifying pens that I would want to let go of right now. So let's just talk about this, for instance, here. I usually, or very often, when I ink up this Benu Ambrosia in, what is it? Brown Orchid, that's the name of it. I don't have a good experience with the ink in the pen. Or very rarely do I have a good experience. And so I thought just recently, maybe I want to sell this, but I actually really, really love how it looks. And I don't have to sell a pen just because the writing experience. I can also just love the pen for its, loveliness, if that makes sense. And just use it less and with inks that I know it will work with, because I really love how this pen looks and how it feels, how just the feel that it gives me. It's so, so beautiful and lovely. And so right now I feel like, no, I don't have to sell this pen just because the writing experience isn't always the greatest. And I'm trying to find a good balance. And that's probably just me. I'm trying to find a good balance between wanting to have these amazing writing experiences, like with this Leonardo Momento Zero. I'm going to pull it out and show it to you right here. Where everything is amazing. Like, the pen feels great in my hand. The nib is a chunky nib. It feels amazing. the ink flows well. The piston is so smooth. All of this, the feeling of the pen, the high polish, the way it is finished is just really, really lovely. And so everything on this pen works great. When I write with this, it's like, wow, what a stellar, elevated writing experience I'm having right now. And then I have a pen like this where I really love how it looks. I think it's so fun just that this shape is a pen. I love that when I push it in, it stays posted and it feels like a full-size fountain pen, even though it's ridiculous. And then when I write with it, oftentimes it's like, why does it feel so dry? Why does the ink doesn't flow well enough? So, you know, how do I manage these different feelings? And how do I not just reduce my collection to, as I just said earlier, maybe these two pens or the pens that feel like these? Definitely, in order to recover some money, this would be the way to go. Like, identify all the pens that feel just as amazing as these two, and then let go of this one. And maybe that's what I'm going to do down the line, but I'm also giving myself the grace is probably not the right. I'm just allowing myself to keep this pen just because it's beautiful, you know? And then either I will find an ink that I love in this pen and I will keep it for that ink, or at some point I'm ready and say, okay, you know what? Today is the day that I'm ready to let this pen go. And both of those things are okay. And, you know, with some pens, like the pen that I sold this week, which was, I can show you, it's one of my pens that I took to the San Francisco Pen Show to get ground. So now none of the pens that I got, no, I still have one of the nibs left, and the tuned nib that I got made wetter is still there, but the two grinds that I got from Kirkspear are both sold. Yoo-hoo-hoo. I don't know if I feel good about that or not, but I sold my Platinum 3776 with a reverse architect nib. And I shared that. Is this video? No, maybe that was in September, probably. So I sold this pen and I sold this pen. So now both of these pens are gone. That's life. And it felt really, it wasn't, you know, it felt the right decision. When I said, oh, you love this? This is perfect for you? You want to buy it from me? You can also take it and just try it for a little while. And she was like, no, I like it. I want to buy it. I had no hesitation at all. And so I want to give myself permission to not feel guilty about having pens that don't really work right now. And also selling the pens that don't work and that I feel ready to let go. And not feel guilty, for instance, about I had this ground specifically for me. Well, if it works for the other person, that's great too. So the two new pens that I have in my collection, I actually have another new pen. I just paid for it. I think I'd never talked about this in my video yet. But so I paid for this. I was able to get a good price on this. I'm not sure if this is a Wancher. It doesn't say Wancher here. It's a Sailor Pro Gear Hawaiian Ripe Coffee with a hard extra fine, and it writes absolutely beautifully. I love it. So I paid for this one. This has been with me since the San Francisco Pen Show. And then one of my friends sold their Sailor Pro Gear Yoseka Origin pen, which I have been wanting ever since I saw it. And when they released it in the Pro Gear version, I wanted to get it so badly. But I didn't because the price was so extremely high, and I was able to get this for a good price as well. And so I added it to my collection because I thought this was the opportunity that I was waiting for. There would probably still be opportunities coming up, but this was good. So I bought that, and I wasn't sure if the colors were different or not, or if it was the same hue of green. No, it is not. This has really tiny specks of gold glitter inside, and I really like how this looks. I just love it. I bought it. It has a fine nib, and when I dip tested it, it felt better than I thought it would. I have the option, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I have a Pilot Pro Gear. A Pilot, sure. I have a Sailor Pro Gear. This one is the Habanero, Too Hot Habanero. And I swapped a medium nib on there. This came with a music nib. And I am willing, even though this is fully the same yellow gold, is it? No, it's not the same yellow. Maybe this has already been swapped out. I don't know. But not sure if I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking of if this writing experience with this fine nib isn't going to be awesome all the time, I might swap in this medium nib and swap the fine nib on here. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do this, but this would be an option if I wanted to write with a medium nib more than with a fine nib in this pen. Currently, I don't have any plans of selling either one of these. These are the two. No, I actually have 3 Sailor Pro Gears now with interesting finials. This is the Nagasaba Gyrske. It has an ink bottle here. This is the Yoseka, one of their letters of their, I think, well, now I know I'm talking out of my knowledge zone right here. And sometimes I'm realizing, I'm thinking, wow, I know so little, even though I think I know a lot. I don't know anything at all. So I don't even know if Taiwan has their own written language, like signs, but this is one of their Yoseka symbols, letters. It's not a symbol, it's a letter, I believe. And then this one is the habanero. That's not a habanero, the chili pepper. That's on the Too Hot Habanero. I really love this trio. I actually like how they look together. So, woo! I do have quite a few sailors now. One of them I'm actually ready to let go. All of those are Sailor Pro Gears, and then I do have one more. Wow, I'm bringing them out here. That's a lot. Ooh, I might have a thing for sailors. I did not have a sailor. Well, I sold one of the Sailor Pro Gear Slims that I was going to say. I did not have a Sailor Pro Gear or a sailor before 2024, but that's not true. I had 2 Sailor Pro Gear Slims that I both sold. But wow, this is a huge collection now. should make a video about that. This is a Pro Gear Slim Mini that's permanently inked with Lamy Cliff. It's awesome. These are all my Sailor Pro Gears. And I really like that family. So this is an extra fine. This is a fine. These are 2 medium. Oopsie. This is a Sailor 1911L. Oops. These both are mediums. This is a broad. This is also a broad, but obviously it's not a Pro Gear. And then this is a music nib. This is a Pro Gear Slim in fine, and it writes amazingly. And then this one is the Sailor Pro Gear King of Pen with a broad nib, and it also writes really amazingly. I'm trying to let go of this one. This is a Sailor Pro Gear in black with a music nib. Disclaimer, if you're interested in buying this, I swapped the medium nib that was on here with the music nib that is here. Both work really well now. It doesn't affect the writing experience at all. And I think my plan is, because I actually I thought I would never ever like the writing experience with Sailor nibs. And now I have so many. Isn't that so weird how you can be so wrong about something? So what I don't have is a medium fine nib, and I am really loving the look of the, is it called Rainy Day, the Bungo Box one that is gray silvery with flecks, maybe hollow flecks. That would be amazing. And the blue finials and the rain, the umbrella on the nib. I think I'm going to save up for that for the San Francisco Pen Show next year. And then I'm going to dive to their table. Well, I need accomplices, because I have 2 things that I need to dive to tables for. Because I would love to get a Toyoka Craft pen box as well. Yeah, I already have plans for shopping for a 2025 San Francisco Pen Show. Is that weird? Yeah, I think so too. But that would be then I would have a Sailor Pro Gear in every nib size. And I think then I would call my collection complete. Or possibly I would then swap them around. I don't know. Because what do you do when you say this is complete and then you see a pen that is even prettier? Are you then selling that one and adding that other one to your collection? Not sure how that works. Yeah, so many sailors. I don't know how that went so fast. So that is one of the new pens. I have dip tested it, and I really like how this fine nib writes. It was tuned by Greg Minushkin. And then I also, as I said, added this Benu Talisman, and that is so tiny compared to the Benu Euphoria. I had one Benu Talisman in my collection, and I sold that pretty quickly. First of all, I did not really like the way my specific Benu Talisman looked. I had the Venus's Hair, which was a Truffet exclusive, but I also felt like it was too tiny, and I'm 100% sure that for this one here, I'm making an exception, and I'm trying to figure out how to hold this pen comfortably. And I don't know why it feels so tiny, because well, of course, it's shorter than the Benu Euphoria. My dog is up, so maybe I'm not going to be filming any books right now. But also, we are at 44 minutes, so maybe I'm going to do a separate book video. Of course, it's a lot shorter than the Benu Euphoria. The interesting thing, and if you have both, you can try that, is the grip section, and the threads are exactly the same. However, you can see here that this is longer, of course. So if I take this off here, I can just easily swap this into here. I'll show this to you because I think it's super, super interesting. These are exactly the same. So I can just put this on here and screw it on. And I think that's actually super smart, because then they only have to do one kind of, you know, section production, and the threads are the same, and the threads for the caps are the same. What happens if I screw on a Benu Talisman cap onto here? Nope. Okay, interesting. So the threads for the cap is not the same, but the thread for the section is the same. And of course, then this makes the Benu Talisman so much shorter than the Benu Euphoria because of this added depth in the section. And I think that's why it feels more comfortable for me. So I'm holding it right here where the thread starts to write, I think. And then there's enough pen left so that it feels comfortable in my hand. I noticed, because I, of course, journaled with this the other day, that I am having a harder time gripping it further back because of this shortness of the body. I'm gripping it further down and it feels differently. So I have tried posting it. It looks a little bit odd, but it doesn't put the pen in, it doesn't, blah. It's well balanced. How about that? How about we call it that? It's well balanced still. And then, because it's longer, I can hold it further back. So maybe I will need to post this. Even though it looks a little bit weird, doesn't really affect me. Most of the time I'm looking at what I'm writing and not at what the pen looks like in my hand. And I really, this pen is just perfection for me. The purple is just awesome. And so I think this will be a long-term stay in my collection, and I'm going to make writing with it work. Alrighty, I think I'm going to be done for now. I will share my reading journal update another day. I hope. Yeah, and I have a thing. I really like purple pens. I really love the holo glitter stuff that is on my pens. Let me know what videos you would love to see before the end of the year. I'm like brainstorming ideas for videos. There's not a project. I don't think I'm going to have a project that is like the October project where I have a weekly video every time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.